Today I'll be using some of my homemade brown rice vinegar, and we're making two very similar KNF recipes. We've got water-soluble calcium acetate and water-soluble calcium phosphate, otherwise just called WCA and WCP. I'm going to show you how to make these at the same exact time because they use the exact same process to make, just using slightly different ingredients. For WCA, you're going to need some eggshells or oyster, clam, mussel shells. And then for WCP, you will need animal bones. All of these ingredients contain calcium. Maybe not a huge surprise to some of you, but animal bones are going to contain a good amount of phosphorus in addition to the calcium. And then eggshells and seashells are going to be a bit higher in just straight up calcium. The second and final ingredient for both these recipes is, of course, your vinegar of choice. Just not white vinegar. Please use apple cider or brown rice. And for materials, we are going to need a large brewing vessel and a strainer. And that is pretty much it. Very simple recipe here. You'll also need some way to cook your solid ingredients, likely an oven or a grill or an open fire if you want to go rustic, respect to you. So to prepare our ingredients, all you're going to need to do is cook them up. For the eggshells, I bake them in the oven on a sheet for about an hour or so at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or until the film on the inside of the shell kind of browns and burns off a bit. You're just going to want to make sure that there's no fat, no slime or film on these shells. And same with the bones. For these, I usually use bones that I've made bone broth with already. I strain them out of the broth and then I clean them up a bit and roast them on my grill or in the oven until they kind of burn and crisp up the edges. Here I'm also just trying to get off all the fat and cartilage singed off. For both of these ingredients, I'm cooking them up also opens up the pores a bit and makes the extraction process happen more smoothly. So once you've got your ingredients ready, place them in your extraction vessels like so. And then just fill up the containers with vinegar so that the contents are just barely submerged. This is the simplest way to do it, in my opinion. Don't really need to measure, just giving the shells and bones some vinegar to soak in. What will happen over the next few weeks is the vinegar is going to slowly extract the minerals that we're looking for, namely calcium and phosphorus, and then keep them suspended and preserved in the vinegar. This is a pretty easy peasy mineral extraction, and like I said, it only takes a few weeks. You should see a little bit of off-gassing or bubbling from the ingredients early on. And then when 2 weeks has passed and the bubbles have subsided, your batch is ready to strain, and voila, WCA and WCP. Excellent way to round out our other recipes. Couldn't be simpler. There you go. These will, of course, stay shelf stable indefinitely. If they mold, it probably means that you didn't get all the fat and cartilage off of your ingredients and then they started to rot, but this is very unlikely in my experience.